I bought an off-white Converse from StockX, and I was like, that tag's a different orange. I looked up the receipt from StockX. I reached out to StockX, and they said, there's nothing we can do to help you. All we can tell you to do is list it back on our website. So listed it back on StockX,
And
sent it to
went
StockX, and it went straight through authentication, verified authentic.
Guys, I want to talk about business today.
Business?
I think we are in a unique place with where we are as a business, and we get a lot of feedback and criticism in the way that we operate. And so I just want to address some of those things and maybe help young entrepreneurs and young business owners and young resellers help navigate these tricky waters.
Yeah, especially right now, because especially in the sneaker, actually it's really every market, but this market specifically is having trouble with getting sales, people not buying as many shoes, clothes, cars, houses, everything, right? Yeah. So that'd be good.
So that leads me to my first question. Market value. There are a lot of confusing factors here in terms of what the true market value of an item, or especially a shoe, might be, even a stock, a crypto, a coin, an NFT. Market value. Traditionally, market value is obviously what people are willing to pay.
That's what I was going to say. It's what someone's willing to pay.
Correct. So I guess my first question for you, Ian and Scott, I'm going to give you a scenario, and then I want you to tell me where the market value sits in the scenario. Okay. Store A sells a shoe for $350. They have no issues selling it for $350. They sell it all day for $350. No questions asked. There's an app on the internet where this shoe might be selling for $250, for instance, because the people using that platform are potentially not even adults. They're young kids, whatever it may be.
They have no overhead.
They have no store. They have no employees. They have no overhead. They might be dealing with a small budget to the point where, let's say a shoe is about to drop next Saturday, and you need to recoup your only $250 that you have to make sure you get the next drop, so you're willing to sell at that lower price. So with that being said, if there's people in a market who have no overhead and have no employees or things like that, and they're willing to sell it for cheaper than what Store A would consider market value to be, when Store A is selling it at $350 all day, where do you think the true market value lies?
Okay, so there's several different ways to look at this.
Okay.
Now, Store A is in a storefront, but that's no excuse to raise the price because you have bills to pay. People with the $350 are selling it all day for $350 because of the gratification you get by getting the shoe.
Instant gratification.
Correct. So what I'm getting at with that is, with Store A, I'm able to go into this store. I'm able to now browse through, we have 1,800 shoes in our store. So I'm able to browse through these 1,800 shoes on the shelf, find what I like with customer service. That's going to be A1, because customer service is one of the key things that keeps people coming back. Some people don't mind buying it on StockX, but what they don't understand is the customer satisfaction they get from getting in their car, driving to a store, engaging with people with the similarities, making conversations. That person who is on the sales force now getting to know this person, do's and don'ts and interests and whatnot, and sitting down in with the concierge service, helping this guy all the way through. So the guy's going to come in, try the shoe on, know that it fits. Now, when you're buying shoes on the market through the internet, there's a no return policy. So if you were to buy these shoes online, you get them in and they don't fit, you're now stuck with this shoe. And one of the things is all shoes fit differently. Yeezys fit a half size smaller. Jordan 1s fit a half size bigger. Air Forces tend to fit a little bit bigger. Dunks and any other AJs are pretty true to size.
Even within 350s, different 350s fit differently.
Right. And so you're able to try this on, you know it fits. You're also able to know the legitimacy of the shoe. Everybody's heard the horror stories with dealing over the internet is you're dealing with a third party. Third party can be anybody. It could be little Timmy, like we talked about, or it could be somebody overseas who's gotten the UA down to a perfect science to where it slides through the cracks of whoever this third party is that they're going through, because not every legit checker catches every shoe. They slide through the cracks, and there's horror stories. And so now you're coming in here, you knowing the shoe's legit, you're knowing it fits. Lastly, you physically get to walk out the shoe instantly. So there's a lot of different key things that go into buying it from a storefront versus buying it from the internet. And a lot of those factors play into why things, in my opinion, cost more. I'm giving you an experience and an understanding that is more concrete and legit than if you were to blindly go through these other sources.
You're almost paying for the peace of mind as well, to just know that it's a good, clean transaction. You're not going to have to worry in the back of your mind. And you know what I mean?
And the cool part is a lot of these people, if let's just say it's their first time to come into the store, and they get greeted by Jordan or Hayden or, you know, our employees downstairs, and they end up becoming friends with these people. Well, now all they care about is supporting. And so a lot of the people that come to our store is based on a support system. You know, a lot of our clientele, granted, the YouTube's getting bigger, so a lot of guys want to come when they're in Dallas and check out the store, and possibly if we're there, meet us, take a picture, which is an experience. But a lot of these people just want to support. I have a lot of friends who know they can go and get the shoes somewhere else in the city for cheaper, but choose to come to me because they want to support me. They don't want to hook up. They don't want a discount. They want to help me grow, help me succeed, help me build, help me help others below me in my company build and grow.
You're providing like 20 jobs for your community.
In their families, and their wives, and their kids. I have some of our employees that help their moms and parents out as well. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into resell. And at the same time, you know, not everybody gives back to the community. We are one of those people that we're fortunate enough with the profits that we make, we're able to give back to the community, you know, whether it's through donations, giveaways. Even when we're on road, we do a lot of cool things with the scavenger hunts and stuff.
Even just buying in general, I can only imagine how much money we pump back into the sneaker community from other people.
Oh, it's insane.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot.
But at the end of the day, when people from the outside looking in, they don't factor any of those things in.
No.
They just see one price and another price, and they think we're just overcharging. But what they don't understand is there's a lot of key things that go into that overcharge. And it's not technically an overcharge. It's a market value in my area. Every city's different.
Yeah, every city's different.
You can go to Ruth Chris and you can eat an $80 steak, and you can go to Denny's and eat a $12 steak.
But it's the exact same steak.
Yeah, because to me, it's like the difference between going and buying A5 Wagyu at a high-end steak restaurant or going to your local butcher that has that same A5 and cooking it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the difference between going to a store that has the experience or doing a peer-to-peer transaction through StockX, et cetera. Now, to what Scott said, though, you can't return a shoe when you buy it from StockX. When you're buying it in person, you get to, like, you don't even see the shoe, right? Before you get the shoe, you don't see it.
It's a non-tangible item.
Yeah, it's not, right? So, like, you don't get to look at that shoe and be like, hey, this looks weird. If you go to a store, you can be like, I don't want to get this because I don't feel comfortable.
I didn't know the blue was that color.
Right? I actually have that story of whenever I got the off-white Converse. I bought an off-white Converse from StockX long time ago. And it was a shoe that we had 2 or 3 of, and I kept it in the back of the store. We had all the off-white Converse out, and I went to go put out the off. I didn't even open the box when I got it in because I knew we had multiple of that size. We sold the 13, so I went to the back, grabbed the 13, put it on the shelf, and I was like, that tag's a different orange.
I noticed it.
Yeah, I remember that exactly. So we start looking through, and we're like, look at the box. The label was off. all these things pointed to it wasn't a legit pair, and it came from StockX. So I looked up the receipt from StockX. I reached out to StockX, and they said, there's nothing we can do to help you. All we can tell you to do is list it back on our website, list it back on StockX. So listed it back on StockX. Someone bought it.
Yeah, and it
sent it to StockX, and it went straight through authentication, verified authentic.
And that's a true story.
And that's a true story. So it's like firsthand
Experience.
we experience, that
How
that going
easy
down.
it is to let it slip through
to
the cracks.
and that's the part that kind of ticked me off, is like there's no like, hey, let me see photos to verify if it's legit or not. No, sorry, there's nothing we can do. Just list it back on our platform.
They're basically telling you that you're telling me it's fake, and I'm still telling you to put it back through my platform.
Yeah, like what?
So I would have never have said that
Because
but I saw the email.
Yeah.
You have people have to understand that StockX is it's like an Uber, right?
Yeah.
Uber makes money off cars, but they don't own a single car. They just get money off of the fees for everybody who takes a ride, and that anybody who uses StockX is paying a fee for that service, and that is what pays StockX. Their entire business model is just being a third-party intermediary to exchange a shoe that Scotty might be selling, and then you are on the other end as the buyer. So in terms of a business model, it's
Now, don't get me wrong, it works. Like,
Oh, yeah,
8
absolutely.
times out of 10, you're gonna have a perfect experience, but
sure.
Now,
it doesn't.
I will say, some people will look at the prices comparisons on our website and be like, just because you guys are private selection, you think you can charge more, but we've been charging these prices before we ever had our YouTube
That's
channel.
the funniest part too. Even on that video, they were like, they're just giving you a discount because you guys are on camera, and I'm like, bro, we're paying over StockX ask for all those. They're not. They're making more money than if they were to go sell it on any of the apps.
So our prices are relatively about 100 plus over StockX ask. But that also just goes into what we just explained earlier. And it's one of those things where we don't raise the brand, or we don't raise the price because we're a brand. We have our price set because of where we're located and the service that we provide and legitimacy that we provide.
And also understanding the market value. So there are a lot of times where I look at a shoe and I'm like, this is for sure worth $350. And so that's the other thing, and why you can come purchase a shoe from us and complain that day, maybe for the next week. But if you were to go and historically look back at people who have purchased shoes at our store, they can probably go back and look at the receipt, and at the time probably somebody was like, man, you got taxed or whatever it may be. And then a month later it's like the price is exactly
the actual
what
market price.
You have to be ahead of the market, and that's another thing that we do when we're pricing, is being ahead of the market, not where it's at necessarily right at this moment, but where is it going to settle. You got to look at a shoe that's been out a year from now and look at where that price settled, not where it was in the first turbulent month or
like
two
if we
of
know
ups and downs.
if we know it's a great shoe and we know that there's going to be that value, I don't care if I price it at what I think it's going to be and we sit on it and don't sell one pair, because I know eventually it's going to get to that price.
What the P-Rods.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
We held on to them, and guess what? Now we got rid of all of them.
Yep.
So that's a valuable lesson for you guys, especially if you are a reseller. Know the value of what you hold. Don't feel like you have to sell yourself short just to get the sale or whatever it may be. Understand the value of the things that you're buying, and when you're confident in your purchase, just know that the day will come where you can get the right price point for it. I think Ian just used our last episode as a great example, and where we just went and bought a bunch of GS military 4s. How long ago did we shoot that episode?
And that's, people don't know, like, we have a backlog of videos. So like that episode was probably shot 2 months ago when ask on all those GS4s was anywhere from like 220 for like a size 4 all the way to like 260, 270, right? And we were paying
Everybody wanted 3 to 350.
Everybody wanted 3 to 350.
And we met them in the middle.
Right. We met them in the middle at 280, 290, which was still above StockX. And of course, if you go to StockX and sell the shoe, then they take all their fees. So you're really going to end up with like 240 on a 270 or 260.
We never
sale.
lowball anyone when we're doing these cash out
Never,
videos.
never.
We go when we take the ask in the last sale, and then we find a medium in there.
Yeah.
Usually it's like anywhere from 15% above the lowest ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's usually a good little. We'll normally add a little extra on top just to make it a good even number or whatever it may be, but we're never really like undercutting.
And it's funny because
market
people
value.
don't realize that, like, when we buy at shows, we're just doing that to support. Like, we're not
don't
the type
need
of stores that go to shows and buy to get our inventory. We have our own ways of getting our own inventory, whether it's botting, whether it's buying from botters. That's another very, I don't want to give too much game, but like, people don't reach out to like figure out who's a really good botter. Maybe I can buy from them. Bulk. They're going to sell you it cheaper than if you try to go to a sneaker show where these guys are just trying to get top dollar. Like,
Botters are not going to sneaker
botters
shows.
don't care about going to
what's
sneaker
even,
con.
You know what's even funnier about these sneaker shows is these sneaker shows are treating the consumer just how we do at our store.
Yes.
All the prices
Yes.
are 70, 80 bucks over the ass because they know that that person can instantly buy it and leave with it. And that's the same concept that we have at our store.
And now they have overhead because they paid for the table, they paid for transportation to get there.
now
They
they
got to make a
understand
little
it.
extra money, right?
Yeah.
And so it's because like even when we go to a lot of these places, they're asking for like $350 on pandas.
Yeah.
When I know I can get them for $280, but they also know the urgency of the consumer wanting it at that very moment.
The demand is
and
there.
the demand is there, so the people will pay for it. And so for these people who own stores like that are listening, my main thing that I push on it is the customer service. So if you can create a customer service with your employees as a one-on-one and engagement with just getting to know every person that comes in rather than just getting the sale, but actually getting to know the person, then you're going to build a rap sheet of good clientele that will come back and they don't mind paying the premium because they enjoy the comfortability that you've created in this space of your business that allows them to go in there and feel like they can be themselves and not, a lot of places feel intimidated. So like I have friends, mostly girls, because they're not sneakerheads, and they're like, yeah, I walked by your store, and I'm like, why didn't you come in? I don't know. I don't really know a lot about sneakers. I was a little intimidated. I'm like, but that's not how we operate. Like, come in there. One of my guys will greet you. Like, they'll make you feel as if, you know, and if you don't know, they'll teach you, they'll show you, and you'll get comfortable, and then you'll want to come back. And it happens a lot. Like, our main clientele over the last 4 years is repeated customers. They came in, they met Izzy, they met Eddie, Steve-O, whoever, got to know them. And later on down the road, they meet me and they're like, oh, I've been by your store. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, Hayden's a real cool dude, man. Like, I go in, every time I go in, I make sure I talk to Hayden and he helps me every time. And having that one-on-one customer service, believe it or not, is what's going to keep that same person coming in over and over and over again and choosing your store over anyone in the cities, even if you do cost a little more.
Well, we modeled it over a luxury store, right? You go to LV, you get assigned a person as soon as you walk in, and they lead you through the whole thing, build a rapport with you. They hit you up, they text you whenever new stuff
Our
comes
guys
in.
do that too.
Like, that's it.
And to add to that, these guys, we have tons of clients, right? Because people always say, oh, well, they're just taking advantage of people who don't know any better, right? So let me just be very clear that the majority of my homeboys that come in, when it's Friday night and you need a fresh fit for Friday night,
You ain't got time.
They come in here. There is no time to order on StockX, nor do they even care about that. When it's Friday night and it's time to hit the club, or it's Saturday night and it's time to step out, I need a fit for tonight. You got this new shirt, you got these pants, and now I need some shoes to match. And that's all that matters.
They just went through their closet and they're like, I don't have nothing. I thought I had something to wear. Now I don't.
I need a
something.
fresh fit for tonight. And it's like, it's not some unsuspecting people who just come in and getting hit over the head.
Yeah, we're
Like,
not taking advantage of anybody.
these people. And then not only that,
It's explained at the counter when they're checking out too.
it's normally a situation where the people who have this comment are sneakerheads. So they know about the local resale
Yeah.
spot. They're connected with other resellers and they know. How many kids come in every day from 45 minutes up the border to Oklahoma who are like, wow, this is my first time I get to see Yeezys in person. Like still to this day.
It's funny. I had a conversation with, it was Welty and Matt Halfville on Twitter. And Welty had said, stumbled across a sneaker related site and saw their most popular shoes sitting at the top. He said, not a surprise, not quote bad shoes either, but just kind of sums up the sneaker world in a nutshell. And it was a Panda, a white Air Force, the white New Balance 550, and then a Panda High, right? And Matt goes, the misconception is that sneaker buyers and sneakerheads are one and the same. Tons of people who really don't give a shit about sneakers beyond something for their fit buying sneakers, and lots of them right now. Like, you have to realize, like, sneakerheads don't really shop at sneaker stores.
They don't. They
Like,
have their own sources of getting
it's so
it for
funny.
the low, and that's what they stick to. But those are the first ones to voice
And
their
they're the
opinions.
first ones to voice all their opinions.
For
And you
sure.
can't tell me if you're a sneakerhead, you've ever just walked into a sneaker store and supported them or bought stuff from sneaker. You're
Nah,
buying
they're-
from peer to peer.
we do in every city we go to.
Yeah, like
we for
like,
sure do.
They're just like, if most sneakerheads are buying from, like, hey, I know other sneakerheads. I'm in a Facebook group. There's other sneakerheads. These
Buy,
are the shoes
sell,
I
trade,
have.
yeah.
Buy, sell, trade. Like, you're not going into a store to
They're
buy.
they're bartering. They're bartering
Yes,
shoes.
bro.
And then you go to a place like when we went to Washington D.C. We walked around that city for days, and unless the people were there for SneakerCon, you're not seeing regular human beings wearing any hype sneakers
No.
whatsoever. Same for Salt Lake. You have a couple swaggy people there, but your general population is not sneakerheads. And if they just need a fresh pair of Air Force Ones, or their daughter or son decided they wanted ask for a pair of Dunks or whatever, like
It's convenient.
It's
Okay,
convenient
can
to
I-
be able to
can
go
I
to the
explain
mall and
an
just get it.
analogy? Here's a great way to look at it. I do this a lot of times when people come in the store. Okay, so I pull into the mall, a concert, a show, whatever. Can't find parking anywhere. I'm driving around. I don't have time to drive around to look for this parking spot that's free.
We did that at North Park with the Apple phone, remember?
Yep. And so what's my other option? Valet. Valet is a service. They are a provider. They are an instant gratification. They are a problem solver of your stress and needs, and it happens instantly. Okay, they got valet? Yeah, it's right around the corner. Bet. What's going to happen now is the stress and the concern of everything that I was just having is now out the door. I pull up to valet, and what do you have to do? You have to pay a fee. A fee over what free was 5 seconds ago.
Right.
You're paying a fee, but with that fee comes what?
Convenience.
The convenience. But who's helping you? A person,
Yes.
a concierge person. He is taking your keys. He is taking your car. He is handling everything for you so that you can get to where you need to be at a timely manner, stress-free, and instantly. And that's how I try to compare it. Like when people don't understand and I need to break it down to them, if I ever want to give them my time of day, because sometimes I just see the hate and I keep it moving. But I explained to them that we are a valet service in a sense to where we are here to provide for you.
No one's forcing you to valet. You don't have to valet if you
have
don't want to
to.
valet. Like, I don't understand I never have understood where the animosity comes from that.
The real sneakerheads
Like, the
don't
real
valet.
sneakerheads, we don't valet. Like,
It's not going to hurt.
I guarantee you half of you sneakerheads probably do valet when you go places.
But not to mention like I said before, like the money we make, we do cool things with it. We give it back. We give people opportunities. We shed light. I mean, everything we do is for a positive. You know, people try to tear you down because of that one little thing, but they don't understand the million other parts and movements that go on within these walls that help hundreds of people.
And it's funny. I wanted to go back to that combo I was having on here because I want to ask you guys a question, because this guy responded to me, right? And he goes, when/how do you define someone as a sneakerhead? He goes, I mean, if someone is paying over retail for a sneaker, doesn't that mean they're more passionate about sneakers than the average Joe?
It can, because, well, okay, it doesn't necessarily make you a sneakerhead, but what I will say is, like, even in one of those last videos, I bought a shoe. I think it was that football gray Dunk High, and the kid charged me $300, and everybody was like, you got taxed. And it's like, no, I wanted to pay.
It comes back to convenience.
Yeah, and I didn't have to go anywhere. He brought it straight to me. If 300 is the price, then 300 is the price. I'm not even going to sit there and...
You know what the best part about it is he knew you wanted that shoe from prior episodes.
Yeah, of course.
And so he went out of his way to make sure he had that for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay whatever price he's asking. I'm
just
not gonna
like-
sit there and lowball.
but
How
not
many? Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but not only that, but it's like you sit down at a dinner, gratuity or tip is typically, what was it, 18% or something like that?
Yeah.
You can pay that. But if that guy's going above and beyond to make sure your experience at that restaurant is amazing and the food was amazing and the service was amazing, then you're going to pay more. You're going to tip more. You're going to take care of that person because you enjoyed that whole scenario going on. And then guess what? You're going to go back and you're going to do the same thing, 25%, whatever the scenario is.
Yeah, it's back to you're gonna choose that $80 Ruth Chris steak over the $12 Denny steak
At the
every
end
day.
of the day, what we do here is replicated in other businesses in different ways.
Yeah,
Whether
and-
it's
and
valet,
everywhere.
whether it's the food industry, it doesn't.
That's why
cars.
I
people
never
buy-
understand, bro.
People are buying those Corvettes for retail and then flipping them for like 60 bands over.
Yeah.
because of the demand.
Like 20 now, but that's a good point.
Because it's right there.
You could have a Chevrolet dealership 2 miles this way and a Chevrolet dealership 2 miles this way, and both of them have the same 2022 blue Chevy Silverado 1500 with the same build out,
but
and
guess
one
what?
might be $2,000 or $3,000 more than the other one, and
But
it's
guess
just
what?
based on that.
That's also one of the guys probably charges more because he's probably been there for 30 years with outstanding customer service and a great rep sheet and nothing you could tie to him that would make things feel faulty.
And he knows the value of
And
what he has and doesn't
knows-
need to feel this need to
Thank
sell
you.
it for
And it-
less than the value of what it's worth.
It goes even deeper to that, in my opinion. Like Apple, how much does an iPhone cost for them to make?
Yeah.
They're probably making
$1,000 a phone.
$1,000 profit per phone. But
$1,000 a phone.
But
Yeah, it's-
we
it's
no,
a
it probably is.
$1,200
No,
phone.
it's
It probably
like
costs $200 to make.
$200 to make, and they sell it for $1,200.
The worst part is every revised edition that comes out, they change all the accessories to where you have to go and buy that accessory to
Because
make it work with
it's-
that phone most of the time.
It's their like
That's
and
the
that's
business
the thing.
model.
That's the business model. Like they do it. Louis Vuitton. How much does that bag really cost for them to make?
Or
You know what I
even
mean?
as simple as a cotton T-shirt that's $1,200 at Louis Vuitton, but a cotton T-shirt and you can get a 3-pack Hanes.
Right, but but whenever it comes to sneakers, everybody wants to be like, "No, you can't do it like that." What do you mean I can't do it like that? If Apple can do it, if Walmart can do it, if Kenmore can do
The
it,
worst
like why
part
can't
about it-
I do it?
I feel like Target's business model is like just charge a little bit more than Walmart.
Why don't go to
Same
Target?
No, but
They hit.
but Scott, when you go in there, I don't gotta go hang out with all the crazies.
Yeah, no,
I don't gotta
Walmart's
deal
full
with
of 'em.
the dude that filled up a cart and then returned the cart to the customer service. That meat sat there for 2 hours. And they put it back on the shelf.
Or what was Bebe? Bebe was talking about the guy who poured milk on himself.
Yeah,
in the-
like-
that wasn't happening at
That
Target.
wasn't happening at Target. So if you want to pay a little extra, so I don't got to deal with that, I'll pay a little extra.
Let me ask you guys a question. What would happen, just in a very hypothetical sense, right? Like we have this market where, okay, Scott, let's go back in time 8 years ago, 10 years ago when we first started. The only place you could buy shoes from on the internet was Flight Club. And Flight Club, everyone knows what would be considered outrageous prices.
Because they're the only ones doing
They
it, so
were
they
the
can
only-
make up whatever price they want.
They were the only ones doing it. And so that was kind of what set the price for that shoe. Whatever Flight Club was selling, there was no StockX or anything else to compare to. So just in a hypothetical sense, let's say all of these young resellers out here who are making a living or trying to make a living or get to where we've gotten are selling all of these products at StockX market price, using that as the valuation. Let's say big people like us, Stadium Goods, Urban Necessities, Flight Club, Cool Kicks, whatever, we start selling all of these shoes at the same price as StockX. Do the other reseller kids out there, do their careers survive?
No, it's over.
It kills the entire
It kills the
ecosystem,
entire
correct?
thing.
You need certain people like us to set a bar and understand the value for you other resellers to even have a margin to make money
Yes, like
in this game.
if every store around here in the US, in the world, sold for StockX ask,
There wouldn't be a store.
There's no little resellers anymore. Y'all are gone. That's
Every
gone.
single one of you are gone.
Like, but like I
Speaking of StockX,
I don't understand like how people can't realize this
speaking on StockX, they just added some random $4 charge.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like they used to be no no handling fees.
Yeah.
Now there's handling. Like 2 years ago, they added handling fees. Now they added some random $4 charge. Like
processing
don't
fee,
think
a
they're not
convenience
don't
fee.
think they're not doing their little things too at the same time as the market's fluctuating, just to capitalize on
and they're
theirs.
taking advantage of Lil Timmy. Lil
Yeah.
Timmy's
And-
selling that shoe thinking he's getting $250, but when he gets his
it's
payout,
like
he's really getting
$198.
$196 and some change.
Not only that, but I don't know. I didn't read into why they added the $4, but in my eyes, I feel like that they're getting less transactions.
They are.
And so they're not making as much. So as long as they know they can guarantee an extra 4 per sale,
It can make up for the lack of
imagine 4
transactions.
times 5,000 every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that adds up, and that would help cover this loss that they're having with the market going on.
With them just not even because I guess one, with the prices of shoes going down, they're getting less percentage, and then they're also not getting
Right.
a lot more orders.
But what people fail to understand is what me and Ian keep talking about is you see these circulating photos of shoes sitting on the shelves.
Yes.
I need everybody to understand that when you're seeing these photos of shoes sitting on the shelves, it's a misconception because in all reality, yes, that shoe is sitting on the shelf, but there's only one size left.
Yeah.
And we actually went around our mall and the other malls because we weren't going around doing this, but we happened to be.
we were doing it was the Apple launch, so I was going to pick up the
get
Apple phone.
Right, man, let's just go into the Nike store. So we go in there. They had Georgetown's, Iris's.
They had the Fire Red
Fire
threes.
and so we're like, wow, okay, so let's see how this works.
I personally wanted a personal Fire Red 3. I don't have one yet.
Right. And so the guys that work there, they knew who we were. And so we're like, hey, what sizes do you have in this? 8. What size do you have left in this? Only got an 8.5 left. What about this one? 5 youth. Like, so yes, there are shoes.
They're not selling out instantly
they're not
like they
selling
were
all the way through.
Yes,
but I'm
I get
telling you
that.
right now, there's just select sizes. There's just not just size runs.
And
just
everybody's
sitting on the
just
shelf.
blasting like, look at all these shoes sitting. And we're like, bro, there's 3 sizes in there. They're not sitting. Like,
No.
I couldn't get
all
any.
the good stuff's gone.
All the my size, and especially in Jordans and big sizes like 12, 13, 14, those pairs go instantly. They're instantly gone. So like, if those aren't there, the shoe's not sitting. It's not
At the
sitting.
end of the day, this is how I look at it, guys. If you bring everything to the table that we talked about, then you have to understand your worth and hold that high, man. Don't let anything around you make you feel less of who you are for the hard work that you put in. Because at the end of the day, what you do helps other people's lives, not just your own pockets. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm not profitable off this social media venture that we're on right now. You know, we're investing a lot to get to that point. But right now we are here because we enjoy doing what we're doing. I enjoy sitting down doing this. I could make more money just going downstairs and helping out with the guys, but I choose to enlighten people on certain etiquettes and business standpoints that they can use to help elevate their business. At the end of the day, I do this for many, many, many other reasons than just to grow my bank account.
That's another aspect that I want to touch on, and especially where I feel like we are a big help. The people who own your local resale store is not a 4-year degree having human being. A lot of times we are the guys who are just trying to figure it out and get in where we fit in. Obviously, Scott having a criminal record, it's a lot harder to get
High school dropout too.
It's a lot harder to get a job. Same for me, GED, high school dropout. A lot harder for me to get a job, the type of job that I need that's going to allow me to provide for my family the way I want to. So we've found a way to get in where we fit in, create jobs in our community, and establish a business and our ability to do what we do. So if you want to hate on that, you can.
You're right.
But you have to understand a lot of these resale stores, man, they don't have the knowledge. They're not proficient in business. We're all out here just trying to figure out and do the best we can.
So whatever I can do to help,
Correct.
I'm there.
Whatever we can do to help and help you guys navigate these tricky waters, we're going to put you guys up on game.
Here's the cherry on top for those of you who don't know, which is my favorite thing to say. I should make a shirt about that. One thing that you guys need to understand too with us is we're providing jobs for these guys, but we're also doing things on the back end. So currently in our store right now, we have 4 different brands that we carry that are not sought after retail brands, but they're actually brands of our employees. We have employees that are passionate about design, clothing, you name it. And I told them, hey, you really want to start a brand? They said yes. Jacob, Hebes, Eddie, our brand. And I said 4 because I counted our brand because some of our employees help designs for our brand. So it counts. And we give these guys opportunities. Okay, cool. Then get your brand set up, get your designs in order. Larry and Ian and I will do the sourcing for you guys, show you guys where to buy the blanks, where to get the production done. We also pay for the very first production of their brand.
Sometimes second.
Yeah.
Sometimes second. So Jacob, Hebes, and Eddie both have their brands in our store, and they put their capsule together, got their design situated. Larry plugged in with the warehouse, got it all made, and then our company paid for it for the first time. And then we let them know that with the profits that they have made with this is now on them to create moving forward for capsule 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So not only are we providing jobs for these people with the service we provide and the profits we make from the shoes, we're turning around and we're letting these guys who work for us create dreams within these walls as well.
Correct.
And I don't have to sit here and brag about it, but since we're on the topic, I'm just letting people understand a little bit more behind the scenes of just what we do and how we operate and how I move. I move with my heart. I don't move with the intentions of
Getting over on
people, getting rich and doing these things. I'm successful in a whole different way. Success to me is valued on how many lives I can change. If I can change a room full of people's lives, that's success to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people evaluate success to materialistic things. How much money they have in their bank account, things that they can buy and brag about.
How big their house is.
How big their house is.
How cool their car is.
I don't talk about my car. You've never heard me talk about my car. You've never heard me talk about my house, and you've never seen me talk about my watch. I don't talk about things like that. You might see the watch in a picture, we do little things like that, but you don't see me in the Rolex store videotaping myself, cashing out, doing Kodak spreads on my hand, because that's not what I measure success to. I measure success to how many lives I can change, how many people I can make successful, how I can streamline a business without physically having to be there, but also providing for other people.
Yeah.
Because we didn't just start helping with the guys' clothing brands, like been doing that.
been
This
doing
isn't
that.
just happening.
Yeah.
We're talking about it now,
Yeah. Our success extends to the 20 other people who work for our whole squad.
I mean, not only
is
that,
eating. It ain't just us at
not
the,
only that,
at the
but
top.
if you think about it, you have John, our barber, has been cutting our hair for 2 years. I have Chef Greg has been bringing us food every Saturday. And not to mention, he also cooks for me Thanksgiving and Christmas for my entire family. And not only that, but we've plugged him with Cowboys players and other people like that. And that's
Chef Greg has bought 2 cars this year. If you want to know how Chef Greg
He has 3 cars right now.
and then we have people like our buddy Isaiah Shales, Shale, who does all our custom, designer work and shoes and stuff like that. So it's like any way I can change someone's life to make them more successful means I'm more successful.
Facts.
God put me here in this position to be successful, to not hold on to what I've made, but to take what I've made and the platform I've created and use it to change other people's lives.
The best part of the episode we dropped yesterday, the DFW Vintage Swap Meet, was Hold Your Tongues, Stephanie.
Yes.
Shout out Stephanie. She hit me up and she sent me a screenshot. Her IG was lit up with new followers, and she was just so excited for the little feature in the episode and the little shout out because of the effect that it has for someone who doesn't have a huge storefront and is just attending and doing every event that they possibly can to be involved in this culture.
And always in
sell
great
sneakers.
spirits.
Yeah.
Always.
I love her.
Always.
She's
Yeah,
great.
me too.
She's probably the most featured sneaker reseller probably on
has
our
to be.
channel.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does. I'm not saying that for any reason or
Yeah.
another. But like, it's
Because she's
good.
got great energy.
And she's
great energy,
and it's
bro.
also what I just said. She's out there at every
She's
single
hustling.
event, getting
Hustling.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, she's pulling up
Even
wherever,
putting in
even
work.
even at the DFW one, she created that whole like
Boutique.
space boutique area. It was really cool.
Yeah.
to
Putting
see.
in work, bro.
Yeah,
Like not
yeah.
giving up, being relentless, just keeping at it.
Yeah,
You know, so whatever success is to you guys, that's on you. Success to me is changing lives. I don't know about you two.
I
but,
1000% agree with everything you just said.
you know, so it's like that's why I'm always on my IG. Just like if you're going through some shit, holla at me.
Yep.
Let's talk. Like I'm not too cool to help put insight in on anything.
You
It
said
doesn't
that
matter.
today in the group chat for our store.
Yeah.
Our employees.
Yeah, it's just like
if you need us to pray for you, whatever it may be.
yeah. I had a
we got
gentleman in
you.
my DM today struggling with that and reached out to me and was just asking me just different advice and whatnot. And we talked for a little bit and I ended up putting it on my story because a lot of times men, us being men, you know, we hold pride in ourselves. And so to talk to another man about problems is unlikely. And it takes a lot to just open up to, especially a stranger, open up to somebody about what's going on in your personal life. And he did. And we started talking and just that little exchange of conversation with him changed everything. And, you know, the last thing he said was like, Scotty, like, even just your response alone is what's now going to help me take this to another level and shake off whatever these demons and things that I'm going through in life. And so at the end of the day, guys, it's one of those things where we felt the need to just kind of break down the understanding of resale and the value of your business and the value of yourself.
Yeah. What is
Definitely.
market value? That was a great question.
What is market value?
Because there's a lot that goes into
Because
it.
if people are paying my price, then
Well, yeah. Why can't
it,
they pay
it
that
looks
for
to
you?
me like everybody else is selling it for
Yeah,
less than market value, in my opinion.
Because to go back to the question you had asked was like, is everybody else undercutting?
Yeah,
Like,
they're selling themselves short.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, we have no problem selling all these comments of y'all saying our price is outrageous. I'm gonna let you know right now, I have no problem selling any shoe in my store every day.
I just want you guys to know. I probably spend over $100,000 every other week restocking shoes. So there is
Restocking, that's not even getting new drops.
Restocking old drops, which means everything is selling through, which means you guys can sell for that price too.
Just know your worth.
Just know your worth. Know your
value.
worth.
But not only that, match your work
And provide the service.
Match your
Yes.
work ethics to your worth. Like, you can't just be overcharging and be this asshole behind the counter not talking to any customers. It doesn't work that
Not
way.
giving them an extra reason to pay the extra money.
You're not going to find a lot of people out there who didn't enjoy shopping with Scotty or shopping with Larry or shopping with Ian.
Right.
Take that into account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you guys are making
fun
these
to shop
comments.
with.
That's what I'm saying.
It's an experience.
It's an experience. Shopping with, especially if you're new to this world, you know what I mean, and you really need guys to guide you through and help put you up on game and help you take that extra step to maybe wear something that you weren't normally brave enough to wear. Like, we are the place to come for that. You know what I mean?
Now, I will say before, to lead into a different type of topic is what people need to understand is when we first started Private Selection, we were a retail store first and then expanded into the sneaker at timing wise, expanded into sneakers. Where it was the intention to always do this. But what people need to understand is that we went about 17 months before we ever paid ourselves directly through payroll for shoes.
I want to talk about this, Scotty, which is tied into this. Tell them about what we had to do with Yeezy 350 Earths during the COVID shutdown.
We had to sell them for retail just to get our money back.
We were broke. Like, we needed money. We didn't have sales. The whole mall was shut down. Like, there were sacrifices that we had to make. We had to get rid of inventory that we knew should be selling for more, but we needed to have some income.
So what I'm getting at is anybody who's just starting off, understand that when you're opening up this store, you're taking this leap by using your savings to get whatever releases are coming out or whatever deal you're buying from somebody's personal collection. Understand that you need to just jot out what your bare minimums are to live: rent, car, insurance, electricity, internet, whatever those are. And then add, food and amenities on top, bare minimum. take that number and rock with that number until the goal that you've created in inventory is met. So our goal was $1 million in sneakers, or maybe it was like a 1.5 or something. Like that. I don't remember what it was. Yeah. And we told ourselves, all right, once we have this much in inventory, we now have enough in inventory to payroll ourselves, because if anything weren't ever to happen, we could liquidate to make money. And so we went about 16, 17 months before we finally hit that goal.
Year and a half.
Everything we were making, we were reinvesting, buying more, paying ourselves minimum. And that was just a sacrifice, again, because I talk about sacrifices. That was a sacrifice we had to take to understand where the overall goal was. I was never going to be able to get these things for the store and buy large quantities of drops if I wasn't going to sacrifice myself and my, what's the word I want to say?
Your wants, not
my
your
wants,
needs.
right?
Yeah.
If I and to separate those two, if I ever wanted to get to be able to buy all my wants and my needs together,
Yeah.
And so if you guys can fight the urge and understand the overall goal, then you'll succeed a lot much more than just trying to take every single time.
You know, someone that I see that like almost want to give their flowers for like following that blueprint of doing it. Brandon from Common Hype. All his crew is always like, he's the cheapest dude. He won't pay for any of this. He won't do but like he knows what to do.
He knows what to do.
He's doing what we did, which is
for sure.
he knows his expenses. That's where he's at. And every dollar he's making, he's putting it back into inventory, putting it back.
Smart man.
You touched on that with talking about our employees. You know, we invested and allowed them to create a collection that we then paid for. Then we sold it in the store and then just gave them their profits. So they didn't even have to put any money up to create these clothes.
They just made
an extra, couple grand.
It was about $1,800 to $2,400 every drop that they each.
And so think about this for you guys that are just working a regular, 9 to 5 job or just a regular day job. Then, if you get blessed with an extra couple grand, what's the first thing you want to go do?
Ball out.
Pair of shoes, especially in this industry. You know what I mean? You want to go ball out, you grab a new pair of shoes,
go to dinner.
And so it was very important that we stress to these guys, make sure you reinvest this money into your next collection so that now you can double up and flip that again. And now you have a recurring extra $2,000 or whatever a month. Because if they made that certain amount of clothes, we could sell it in roughly 30 days, the entire collection, and they could bring on that extra income. Now their income goes to, let's say $3,000 to $5,000 a month or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And now you're in a whole
now you got $5,000 to spend on your clothes instead of $3,000.
Now you're in a whole different position. People got to go to college for 4 years to make $5,000.
It's just understanding and prioritizing and being able to fight any urge.
Fight the urge, bro.
A lot of people want to blow the re-up money, but you can't.
We were like that for a long time, Scott. In our earlier years, we did everything we could to make people feel like we had money when we didn't quite have it like that. And then when we really finally started getting money for real, we had no desire to do any of the stuff that we used to do because when you really start getting it, it's like you don't even really
care. I don't need to pop my collar for nobody.
No. We're going to go out, we're going to pop 20 bottles and blood. And it's just like, no, I'm going to buy one drink at the bar and go home and play golf in my movie theater.
I'd rather stream with my subscribers.
There you go.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
I talked to Hex. He's going to give me a list of like everything I need to.
Yeah. Hilton actually came up to me last night. He was like, this is the setup Scotty needs. He needs a streaming PC.
Yeah.
He needs the regular PC. He's like the streaming PC doesn't have to be a expensive PC at all. It could be like $1,000, and then he needs like $3,500 to put into the rig, and he'll be good to go. He'll have everything.
Ball out for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt like it was cool to get on here and just kind of shed some light.
That was a good.
Get a better understanding for you guys, and understand that, like I said a second ago, like there's other movements behind these four walls as to why we do what we do and how we do it.
I'd like to continue this talks further and other points throughout this podcast. So I want all of you guys watching or listening
Give us
to let us
questions.
know in the comments. Yeah, give us
Yeah,
your
what should we
questions,
talk
your
about?
feedback. What are you having
We'll go
trouble
over those.
with?
Let's just do that next.
Yeah, what do you need help with? What are you having trouble with? What do you need to figure out? You know,
Yeah, let's get like a Q&A going, and then we can actually type those out and actually go.
Because I feel like we just talked for like an hour about
one thing, two things.
yeah. Realistically, it was just market value, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many more things that we can talk about business related with
sure.
reselling.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Cool.
let us know if
Appreciate it,
you
guys.
like this becoming a boss
Ooh, 101.
series.
101.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Cool.
We'll
Thank you
talk to y'all
guys.
later.
Talk to y'all later.
Bye.